A chilling discovery in a Florida ditch clues police into a brutal crime.
There's a decomposing body in a ditch.
He had been stabbed more than 40 times.
It's possible that our victim wasn't even able to scream.
Did a former flame become deadly?
You know who the girl was?
I don't even know who she was.
Or did a secret double life spiral out of control?
She had a criminal history. She was involved in narcotics and things of that nature.
She had been cheating on him.
She went over to dude's house, hung out with him.
That car was set on fire. It was completely destroyed.
There's nowhere to run now.
Go ahead, step out for me.
She turned on him 100%.
She was tired of the lies.
The contempt, the deception, the lack of trust all led to this deadly recipe.
August 12, 2020, Geneva, Florida. It's a calm, tropical afternoon in the lush landscape of Seminole County.
Geneva is really close to Orlando. It's about 30 minutes north. It's more rural, and so there are less people, less attractions.
There are areas that are wooded and secluded. It's kind of reminds you like when people think of the country.
But at 3:20 p.m., a chilling call sends shockwaves through the county sheriff's office.
A man was walking in the area of Settlers Loop in Geneva when he made a startling discovery.
911, police, fire, medical.
Police, Settlers Loop. There's a decomposing body in the ditch.
There's a body in the ditch decomposing.
Correct. It looks like maybe an African-American naked body.
When police arrive at the scene, it's just as the caller described.
They find an unidentified black male on the side of the road in early stages of decomposition, without any clothing, disposed like garbage.
It's clear the victim suffered a violent death.
He had been stabbed more than 40 times, all over his body, including his head.
So the level of aggression and the level of violence in this case is a telltale sign that it's a crime of passion. It's somebody knows this person, and they want to make sure this person is dead.
But who is he?
The victim was nude, and there was no ID.
If the suspect has time, they tend to get rid of the victim's cell phone, the murder weapon, whether it's a gun, a knife, a blunt instrument. So we never found the knife.
It was just the body. That's all police had to go on.
So investigators decide to run a fingerprint analysis.
When you have somebody with no identification on them, no identifiable tattoos at that time due to the early stages of decomposition, and you want to identify your victim very quickly, fingerprints would be the best way to do it. It's the quickest method.
And when police run the prints, they immediately get a hit.
It was at this time that they were able to determine the victim was 30-year-old Joelle Cosby.
Joelle Rashad Cosby was known by loved ones as a sharp-witted family man.
He was one of the funniest people ever, whether it was dancing or singing or telling a joke. Joelle was always the person to make everybody laugh.
He was real tall, so we'll play basketball. Of course, he'll show out and joke on me or dunk over my head or stuff like that. He was definitely a jokester.
In fact, Joelle was a man of many talents.
He did love music. He did rap, actually. He did love to rap.
He could be rapping to his sister. It'll be funny and it'll rhyme at the same time. That was one hell of a combination.
But nothing was more important to Joelle than being a father.
In 2015, Joelle's girlfriend, Jasmine, gave birth to their daughter, Jelani.
When he held her, it was different. He did not put her down, like, the entire time that he was in the hospital with her.
He overly loved her. Very hands-on.
She looked just like him. I mean, it was a beautiful thing.
However, the union between Joelle and Jelani's mother, Jasmine, wasn't meant to last.
It wasn't one of those things like, I don't love you, I don't want to be with you. It's just my life is not where your life is.
So Jasmine basically ended that relationship, but the two ended in good terms and were still close.
At some point, it just didn't work out, but he wanted to be a good dad to his daughter. So they just co-parented together and remained friends.
In the meantime, Joelle took a job at a local car dealership to help provide for Jelani.
We worked there for a while. We was doing detailing work, and we started doing outside of work. Some customers or friends of ours will start doing detailing their cars.
When he wasn't busy working or spending time with his daughter, Joelle dipped his toes back into the dating pool. And that's when he met Jade Caparelli.
Early 2016 is when she started to pop up.
He always been somewhat of a ladies' man.
Had an amazing time.
I did too. Literally, all of the girls were so attracted to him.
However, Jade seemed like more than just a fling.
They connected over the fact that they were both parents.
Jade had 2 children, a girl and a boy.
Eventually, their relationship grew into something really passionate.
But 5 years later, Joelle has been identified as the John Doe stabbed and discarded in Geneva, just 9 miles from his home.
Based on the crime scene, they surmised that he was killed elsewhere.
He was stabbed over 45 times, so the person's going to bleed. They're going to bleed a lot, but it was a noted lack of blood around the body.
He was nude, there was no weapon they could find, and there was no blood at the scene. They have no clues to even start this investigation.
As CSI continues processing the crime scene, detectives prepare to deliver the tragic news to Joelle's loved ones.
That was the worst day of my life. And I lost it.
I'm so sorry.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
My body got cold. It's just a feeling like you're so torn and broken, like, wow, this can't be real.
Unfortunately, Joelle's family has no idea who could have done this.
Is there any reason he would have been in the Geneva area?
They didn't really have any ties to that area specifically, at all. They didn't have, a prior address there or had a friend or anything like that.
You don't mess with nobody. I keep saying he's a clown. It was never nothing, no serious, no guns, none of that.
He seemed like a good guy and did not have any enemies, and so they couldn't imagine who would want to harm him.
Can you tell me about the last time you spoke with Joel?
The last time his family had seen him was about 1 week earlier.
He's known for, I'm gonna come over and then I probably see y'all in 3 days, 4 days, but I'm okay. That was normal.
His mother is able to tell the police that she had seen her son on Sunday, August 9th, around 9:30 p.m.
Joel was in the Midway area. He had visited his mother. He was eating dinner over at her house.
He stayed for about an hour just conversing with his mother and then left around 10:30 p.m.
Don't forget to call me when you get
I will. Love you.
All right, baby. Love you.
But it's who he left with that makes detectives' ears perk up.
As her son was leaving, she was able to look into the car and she saw his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Jade, sitting in the driver's seat.
I never thought she was good enough for my son.
After becoming a father and setting off on a new path for himself, 30-year-old Joel Cosby had found a kindred spirit in Jade Caparelli.
Joelle and Jade hit it off. She was also a parent.
Joel was still very active in his daughter's life from his previous relationship.
He was definitely a funny, hands-on dad.
But now Joel has been the victim of a brutal stabbing. And in speaking with his mother, it seems Jade Caparelli may have been the last person to see him alive.
Joel's mom recalls seeing him get into a white Dodge vehicle.
As her son was leaving, she was able to look into the car and she saw his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Jade, sitting in the driver's seat.
According to Joel's family, Jade is nothing but trouble.
I always thought that she was not good enough for my son.
His mother was one of the first people. She's like, I don't like her.
Jade had a criminal history. She was involved in narcotics and things of that nature. Joel's family knew of Joel and Jade's relationship. They described it as toxic. You know, the way they spoke to each other and arguing and things like that.
What's your problem now, Jade?
No, I know you're lying.
Lying about what?
They would talk and then they wouldn't talk. They would block each other. They would not speak. They would be back together.
You know what? I'm done with this, man. You're crazy.
After learning about Joel's rocky relationship with Jade, detectives are eager to speak with her, but she's not easy to get a hold of.
We got her phone number and tried different addresses and finally were able to get in touch with her.
She agrees to meet them at the station for an interview.
We're here in reference to, as you're aware of, the death of Joel Cosby. Raise your right hand for me. You swear that everything you tell me today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Detectives begin the interview by asking Jade about her relationship with Joel.
Me and Joel have been on and off for like 5 years. I love him.
But she admits the relationship had its issues.
He's left a few times and got involved with like another girl.
Do you know who the girl was?
There was another little white girl. I don't even know who she was.
Jade also told investigators that Joel was still close with his child's mother, Jasmine.
However, despite their ups and downs, Jade says she and Joel always came back together.
She says they'd recently gotten closer than ever.
In fact, she says they even went apartment hunting last week.
We were looking for a place, so he was looking.
Okay. When was the last time you guys were together?
This weekend.
What day?
Sunday. Sunday's the last time.
Okay, tell me about that day.
Jade says she and Joel hung out all afternoon, and she dropped him off at his mom's house around 9:30 p.m.
Did you ever go to his mom's house?
No, I didn't go in there and speak to her or anything.
While Joel was eating dinner with his mom, Jade went to run some errands.
She confirms that she picked Joel up from his mom's house around 11 p.m.
Jade says after that, she drove Joel to his home and left him there.
You left him at the house?
Yes, he went inside.
You leave him around midnight, somewhere, give or take?
Yeah.
Drive straight home?
Yes, I went straight home.
Jade said when she tried calling Joel the next morning, she didn't get an answer.
What time did you call him next day?
I called him probably around 5, 6.
In the morning or p.m.?
No, in the morning when I got up.
Okay. What are you up so early?
I usually can't sleep very much, to be honest.
But when detectives ask Jade what happened next, she makes a shocking admission.
She met up with another man on Monday.
And you immediately went the absolute next day, the next morning, Monday morning.
Another dude.
Joel's death was very tragic. Of course, you don't think about your loved one not being here, and especially in a way like that. It's a lot trying to deal with your emotions and everything that's going on with you physically and health-wise, then trying to control your emotions in your heart with having such a catastrophic loss, and then it being someone that you were so close to and someone that even to this day it's just hard to come to terms with it.
Seminole County detectives investigating the stabbing death of beloved 30-year-old father Joel Cosby are speaking with his girlfriend, Jade Caparelli.
The Monday after Joel went missing, she met up with another man.
You immediately went the absolute next day, the next morning, Monday morning.
Another dude.
It was her ex-boyfriend, Marvin Bryant.
What's your relationship with Marvin? Is it still intimate?
Not really. No.
Not really, or no, or yes?
No.
Jade explains that Marvin is the father of one of her children, and they still maintain a friendly co-parenting relationship.
So you get up the next morning and you drive back to Marvin's house in Orlando. Where does he live in Orlando?
He lives in Apopka.
Detectives are now wondering if Marvin had an axe to grind with Joel. Is this a love triangle situation?
What does Marvin think of Joel?
He doesn't really know Joel to think of him.
Did they ever talk?
They don't talk to each other.
Jade insists Marvin would never hurt Joel.
So he's a good guy?
Yeah, he's very good.
And even when Jade was at Marvin's, she says she was still trying to get a hold of Joel.
She claims she continued trying to reach out to Joel in the following days.
Keep trying?
I called.
Did you ever think about reporting him missing?
Well, no, he did that all the time. Joel went back and forth all the time.
I get that.
Jade is getting more and more frustrated as police press her for answers.
Trying my best to tell you whatever you want to know and tell you the truth. Like, I love Joel.
At that point, Jade ends the interview.
Let me get an attorney, please. I'm not doing this with you guys.
Investigators are still very suspicious of Jade and her story, but they have nothing to hold her on.
You're free to go, but we will see you again, and it's not going to be as pleasant.
Once Jade leaves, detectives are eager to speak with her ex, Marvin Bryant. But before they can make a move, Marvin shows up on his own.
On Saturday, August 15th, Marvin Bryant walks into the Seminole County Sheriff's Office stating that he believes that he is the prime suspect in a murder case.
That doesn't happen every day. You don't have somebody coming into the police station saying stuff like that.
You came in and told the deputy you're the prime suspect in a homicide. What was that all about?
I thought it was, man. Somebody dies. She told me her friend died. I'm just a little scared.
With no prior criminal history, Marvin wanted to make sure his name wasn't being dragged into something it shouldn't be.
He talked to Jade, and he felt that, well, maybe he should give a statement too, to try to maybe absolve him of any suspicion.
Who did she tell you died?
The dude she was dating while we were broke up.
He says at the 5-year mark, they broke up for about a year.
But unlike Jade's statement, he says they are still in a relationship.
And that he lives with Jade and their children in Deltona.
Why would she tell us you live in Popka? Why would she say that?
I'm not sure about that.
At that time, detectives realized that these three are in a love triangle. Jade has been dating them both.
Detectives let Marvin know that Jade has said that she actually saw Joel that weekend.
Well, I'll tell you what she told us. She went over dude's house that died. Hung out with him. Yeah, I know it sucks.
This makes Marvin visibly upset.
One can only speculate what Marvin Bryant was thinking at this time. He has to feel betrayed by Jade, his girlfriend of 10 years.
Detectives redirect their line of questioning to the Monday after Joel went missing.
Okay. Monday, what happened? Y'all stay home all day?
Pretty much. Well, I mean, we probably ran errands again.
Together?
Walmart, like that.
That's when detectives notice something about Marvin's hands.
Okay, let me stop real quick.
Detectives notice Marvin Bryant has cuts on both of his hands.
Police realize that this may be signs of a struggle.
Detectives investigating the murder of 30-year-old Joel Cosby have just learned he was involved in a love triangle with his girlfriend, Jade Caparelli, and Jade's other boyfriend, Marvin Bryant.
In speaking with Marvin, they noticed some suspicious cuts on his hands.
He just tried to slough it off like they weren't there. But there were multiple healing cuts on different areas of his hands.
What you're telling me, I know is not truthful. I'm gonna tell you straight up, it's not truthful.
Honestly, I don't want nothing to do with it because this looks real bad on me now.
Given that the victim was stabbed, 40 plus times, your hand can slip down and actually get cut on the blade yourself.
But when they press him on it, Marvin ends the interview.
Look, okay, I'm gonna have to ask for a lawyer now.
Okay.
However, investigators have what they need to obtain a search warrant for the home Marvin shares with Jade.
When we conducted the search warrant at the house, there wasn't really anything of evidentiary value within that house.
But outside the home is a different story.
Immediately, they pick up on some suspicious things.
We saw that fresh red mulch had been spread around a couple different planter areas.
Detectives also noticed in the driveway there was one spot in particular that looked cleaner than the surrounding driveway, as if it had been pressure washed.
And the final red flag? Marvin's car appears to be missing.
His car is nowhere to be found. Marvin now claims it was stolen.
I think Marvin thought, I'll report it stolen, and that way I'm not looked at as a suspect because I'm a victim of a vehicle theft.
Detectives think there's more to the story. They issue an APB for the vehicle, a white Ford Mustang.
I want every patrol unit keeping an eye out for that vehicle.
And before long, they get a hit.
That car was set on fire over in Lake County. It was completely destroyed. It was burned to the ground.
Which means any potential evidence has been destroyed with it.
Police aren't able to pull any DNA or fingerprints or anything off of that car.
Regardless, investigators believe they're onto something. So they begin retracing Jade and Marvin's movements in the hours leading up to Joel's murder.
During Marvin's interview, he mentioned that he and Jade had ran some errands at Walmart.
So detectives decided to obtain that security video to see what the couple was doing in the store.
They see Jade and Marvin enter into the Walmart around 7:45 a.m. and make a beeline directly for the cleaning supplies.
They're buying a large amount of cleaning products, just various cleaning products, and 2 bags of red mulch.
Next, detectives get a warrant for the vehicle Jade was driving the night she picked Joel up from his mother's house.
Detectives have it towed back to their headquarters to get their CSI team to go through it.
You can spray luminol or Blue Star reagent in an area that you suspect may have some type of substance that could be reactive. So when you do that, it will glow a nice bright blue color.
Based on the test, there are clear signs of a cleanup inside the car.
They were able to recover blood DNA evidence out of the back seat of that vehicle.
Does the blood belong to Joel Cosby?
In order to figure out who this blood belonged to, investigators would have to send it off to a lab.
While detectives await the results, they pull phone records for Joel, Jade, and Marvin.
Phone records show Jade picking up Joel at his mother's house and then going to his house.
But they don't stop there.
Around midnight, his phone shows him traveling with Jade to the home she shared with Marvin in Deltona.
Jade said that the last time she saw Joel was when she dropped him off at home. She never mentioned anything about him coming over to her house that night.
During that same time, Marvin's phone is at the house in Deltona. Jade's phone then reunites and connects with Marvin's phone at her house. After that, Joel's phone essentially goes silent.
However, by 2 a.m., Marvin and Jade's phones keep moving.
Jade and Marvin's phone then travel together down 415 and several other areas within Volusia County and Seminole County.
The phones eventually land in Geneva, at the same spot Joel's body was found 2 days later.
There's now no question that Marvin and Jade are behind the murder.
And when the DNA results from the blood found in Jade's car come in, it confirms that assertion.
There was enough in the back seat to be able to positively identify that to our victim.
Now, at this point, investigators have enough evidence to get arrest warrants for both Jade and Marvin.
Let's bring them in.
Once we got the arrest warrants for both Marvin and Jade, we sent the crime suppression team in Deltona, which is a plainclothes tactical unit.
And it doesn't take long before the couple is spotted on the highway.
There's nowhere to run now.
Officers pull them over under the guise of a routine traffic stop.
Go ahead, step out for me, Jada.
On December 4th, 2020, investigators have moved in to arrest Marvin Bryant and Jade Caparelli for the murder of Jade's boyfriend, 30-year-old Joel Cosby.
Jada, go ahead, step out for me, Jada. Come back here with me. What's your full name?
Jade Caparelli.
All right.
Well, I'd like to know why I'm under arrest.
I'll explain to you in just a minute.
Are you Marvin?
They ordered them to get out so that they could arrest them and take them to jail. And those two are charged with first-degree murder.
What am I being arrested for? You think you're a fantastic job, everyone.
I kind of knew she had something to do with it or she done it. So it was a little justice for my family, even though they still was grieving.
After they were arrested, they didn't want to speak to us. They basically just asked for their lawyers, and that was really it.
And testifying against Marvin at trial.
She turned on him 100%.
She was tired of the lies. She was tired of nobody really knowing the truth or her side.
But when Jade sits down with prosecutors, the truth isn't what they expected.
Jade claims she's been a victim of domestic violence at the hands of Joel Cosby.
If there was anything in my phone, anybody else, that we were gonna fight. It was gonna be a fight. This guy was beating out of me on a regular basis.
But investigators are skeptical. By all accounts, Joel would never hurt a woman, and there are no reports backing Jade's claims.
We didn't have any documentation or any law enforcement reports in recent time that showed any type of violence between Jade and Joel.
Jade says that's because she tried to keep it all under wraps.
She says at first she didn't want to talk about it because she was embarrassed and afraid.
My mom suffered a lot of abuse when I was younger, and she told me not to let anybody do that to me. And I was too scared to call the cops because I sold drugs. I felt like I would have gotten in trouble.
She also didn't want to tell Marvin because Marvin did not know she was in a relationship with Joel, and she would have to admit that she had been cheating on him.
But Jade claims eventually she could no longer hide it.
What happened?
I'm fine. It got really bad one time where Joel actually hit me in my face, punched me. I came home and told a whole lie, but I ended up telling Marvin what happened. And he was just like, well, let me get at him, let me fight him.
Marvin, of course, is hearing Jade's side of the violence, and I think Marvin didn't like that she was still talking to Joel.
Here you are, as what is supposed to be a man, and you're living with this girl who you clearly see is with somebody else.
I'm sorry, I won't see him again.
But she couldn't stay away and continued two-timing both men.
So when Jade decided to get together with Joelle on the night of the 9th, tensions were already running high.
She said after she dropped him off at home, they got into an argument because she didn't want to spend the night.
You really not gonna stay tonight?
I already told you I'm not staying tonight.
So where you going?
It doesn't matter, just leave me alone.
So I jumped up and grabbed my stuff so I could go home. And he jumped in my car. And I was just like, I'm gonna bring you to Marvin so he can fight you. And I called Marvin and told him, hey, he's in the car, he's not getting out, I'm bringing him over.
Let's go, start the car, let's go, I'm ready.
He wasn't going to back down from Marvin. He didn't mind confronting him and just being like, what's your problem? And we believe that's why he willingly got into that car with Jade to ride over the house.
But when they arrived in Deltona, Joelle never could have anticipated the fury that awaited him.
Joelle was walking basically into a trap.
When I pulled up to the driveway, Marvin was already in the driveway.
It was such a quick and brutal attack.
You didn't even give him a chance to defend himself.
In June of 2023, accused killer Jade Caparelli is finally giving a confession regarding the events that took the life of her boyfriend, 30-year-old Joelle Cosby.
She admits she drove him to her home in Deltona, Florida, where she lived with her other boyfriend, Marvin.
The intention was for Marvin to beat Joelle up.
But Jade claims she never anticipated what happened next.
Marvin opened his door, he hit him.
You didn't even give him a chance to defend himself. You had to surprise him with the attack.
As far as I could see, I thought they were just fighting.
According to her, it just looked like Marvin was hitting Joelle.
Joelle tried to get away from the attack, but it was such a quick and brutal attack that Marvin met him over there and continued outside on the ground.
Jade says once she realized what was really going on, she was paralyzed by fear.
It's possible that our victim wasn't even able to scream. If his lungs had been punctured and his neck was stabbed so many times, it's possible that he couldn't even make a sound at that point.
But eventually, the severity of Joelle's injuries was clear.
I saw Joelle was bleeding, I watched Joelle die. And in my mind, I was like, I want to help him, but I didn't. I panicked.
It's kind of shocking that there were no witnesses to this crime, considering this all happened in the driveway.
Keep in mind, this happens, in the early hours of the morning. There's not really a lot of traffic on the roadways. There's not a ton of exterior lights or street lights or really anything like that in the area that would have just lit this place up.
Jade says once Joelle was dead, Marvin started giving her orders.
Marvin was like, just be quiet, just get in your car, follow me. I watched him pull Joelle into the car, and I followed him. And he went out to Geneva. I don't remember exactly where we were.
She waited in the car for Marvin while he took off all of Joelle's clothes, leaving him naked, and disposed of his body by the side of the road.
Marvin then put Joelle's bloody clothes into the back of Jade's car, which would explain the blood evidence police later found.
Follow me back to the house, okay?
Okay.
Did you ever see what he was stabbing him with?
No, he got rid of that. When he threw away all his clothes, he threw that in the trash too. He literally put all that stuff in the trash, and the trash people took it.
In the following days, the couple worked tirelessly to erase the rest of the evidence.
He didn't die from a single stab wound. There was a lot of blood in the driveway.
In order to cover it up, they even bought red mulch in order to soak up some of that blood.
They thought it would blend in and they could easily help dispose of that large amount of blood evidence that was there. But it didn't work.
Damn it, man. Well, let's just throw this on the tree and figure something else out.
He went and rented one of the pressure washers. He pressure washed the driveway, and after he finished, it just looked like, every other driveway with oil stains in it.
Then there was the issue of the two cars, which both had blood evidence inside.
They bought the cleaning supplies from Walmart and attempted to clean the blood from the backseat of Jade's car.
What are we gonna do about your car?
But when it came to Marvin's car, they had to devise a new plan.
There was so much blood in the Ford that there was no way they could clean it up.
So they decided to drive it to Lake County and set it on fire.
Is there anything else you think we really need to know that maybe we didn't ask you?
No.
That'll conclude it. It is approximately 2:19 p.m., 19 hours. With Jade's cooperation in the prosecution against Marvin, we had a tight case.
Armed with Jade's statement, prosecutors enter Marvin's June 2024 trial feeling fully prepared.
Detectives from both Volusia and Seminole County testify at the trial and weave the tapestry for how this murder occurred.
According to the prosecution, Marvin was a cold and calculated killer.
Marvin was at the house waiting. So Joelle was showing up to an ambush, attacker laying in wait with a knife.
It would lead one to believe that, in this case, Marvin Bryant had a lot of time to think about what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it.
In his assault, Marvin stabbed Joelle over 45 times wherever he could. Head, neck, and torso.
To support their claims, prosecutors called Jade Caparelli to the stand.
Jurors hear about Jade's on-again, off-again relationships with Joelle and with Marvin.
She recites the same account to jurors as she did in her recorded confession.
It was a very strong case going to prosecution, even without her statement or without her cooperation.
During cross-examination, Marvin's defense team doesn't go easy on Jade.
They essentially pinned the case back on Jade, and that he was just helping her and he was just kind of standing by.
However, the jury isn't buying it.
Jurors find Marvin guilty of first-degree murder. He's ultimately sentenced to life in prison.
Marvin didn't really show much reaction to anything going on. He just sat there watching.
He wasn't, say, remorseful. I just feel like he realized how stupid what he did was. And the fact that, my life is over.
In exchange for her testimony, Jade is granted the plea deal she was initially promised.
She pled and accepted a reduced charge of second-degree murder, and she was sentenced to 35 years in prison. She gets credit for time served, and she has to serve roughly 80% of that time.
It was definitely a case where, no one like that needs to be free at all. But I believe it was some justice served.
Though Joelle's killers are now behind bars, it doesn't ease the pain of this truly senseless murder.
At the end of the day, the contempt, the deception, the lack of transparency all led to this deadly recipe that cost Joel Cosby his life.
Now, not only is his daughter without a father, your daughter will never be able to see you ever again. You ruined your life just as much as you ruined all of these other people's lives.
However, through their grief, Joelle's family has found strength in their memories of him.
We do go through pictures, or my brother might have me listening to some of their old music that they made together, sharing positive stories about him. We do all of that to try to keep his memory alive. I think it's a good thing for his legacy to be told, because we really do miss him.
very hard to talk about Morgan in the past tense. She still lives on. She lives in everybody. I mean, we sit around, we talk about her. It's never gonna be a past tense.
8 o'clock in the morning, Sierra starts calling me. Mom, something's wrong. Morgan's not here, she's not answering.
She wasn't a sit down and shut up type of girl. And that's what he wanted her to be.
He had this smirk on his face, like, I'm getting ready to take you for a ride.
It tells you how much of a monster he really is. He did it all for every bit of revenge that he had towards her.
On the afternoon of July 25th, 2012, police in St. Petersburg, Florida, receive an emergency call from a distraught mother, Leah Martin. She says her pregnant 17-year-old daughter, Morgan Martin, is missing. She explains she last saw Morgan the night before.
On July 24th, 2012, there was a lot of kids at the house, as usual. My other daughter, Sierra's friends, Morgan's friends, they were all kind of around here and there.
We're all standing there, you know, laughing and giggling with my mom. And Morgan gets a private phone call. And she was like, I'm not doing anything tonight. I'm hanging out with my friends.
Morgan agrees to talk with the caller in person later.
We didn't speak anything of it for the rest of the night. It was about midnight. I hear her phone go off again. I'm guessing he's saying he's outside, because she gets up, she puts on her slippers, like it was gonna be a quick stop, you know, like a quick chat and go back inside. And we went to sleep.
Leah tells police she went to bed early, and when she got up for work, Morgan wasn't there.
I'd left the house usually around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Morgan's door was open. I got up and I looked out the window. I looked through the blinds to see if maybe they were sitting outside. They weren't out there. So I called her as I was going to work and telling her, girl, you better call me when you get up and take your butt back to the house.
Leah's phone rang a few hours later, but it wasn't Morgan. It was her other daughter, Sierra, and she sounded worried.
Mom, something's wrong. Morgan's not here, she's not answering, she's not on Facebook. Nobody can get a hold of her. Mom, something's really wrong. I know something's wrong.
So at this point, I've probably called my sister over 100 times.
I'm trying to just get through the moment and not freak out. Everybody that I can think of, I'm calling, trying to find her.
I felt sick to my stomach because Morgan, she would always reach out to somebody, so we all knew that she was safe. No matter what the situation was, Morgan was gonna reach out.
My first gut feeling is like, damn it, Morgan, like, what are you doing? Where are you? Like, something is wrong.
Especially now that she's 4 months pregnant.
So for her not to respond to those phone calls or text messages, something bad had happened. And it's just something that came natural for her.
However, Morgan's trusting personality caused her family to worry once she became a teenager.
Morgan got interested in dating in a younger age. She was always so friendly with people.
I tried to explain to Morgan how everybody didn't have a good side. Everybody didn't have positive reasoning but she loved everybody.
In 2010, Morgan became particularly interested in an older guy from the neighborhood, 24-year-old Jacoby Flowers.
Jacoby Flowers was an athlete, played semi-professional football, was socially active at clubs, on social media.
From the way people describe Jacoby Flowers, he was a player in all senses of the word. Attractive man, drove a nice car, and typically known to be with or involved with multiple women at the same time. And Morgan, like most good girls, was attracted to the baddest of boys.
So the first time I heard about Jacoby Flowers was when my sister told one of my friends, and my friends told me about him. My first instinct as a sister is, how old? Because at this point, my sister's only 15. I actually went to Morgan with it and asked her, who is this guy? Like, you're dating someone that's way older than you? That's kind of weird. And she was like, deny, deny, deny. I'm not talking to him. It's not him. And I was like, it's the guy that drives the Lexus, isn't it? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, you know, with a smile on her face, grinning about it.
Morgan kept her mother in the dark about her relationship with Jacoby for 2 years. By 2012, she couldn't keep it a secret any longer.
I had went to pick up Morgan from work one evening. It was in May of 2012. She said, I really got to tell you something, Mom. I'm like, what do you need to tell me? She's like, I'm pregnant, Mom. I said, how do you know? She said, I took 6 pregnancy tests at work and 2 at Walgreens in their bathroom. I took her to the hospital that night. She told me who it was, you know, and we talked.
Her family had mixed feelings. But for Morgan, it was a dream come true.
When I found out she was pregnant, I asked her who was the dad, and she told me it was Jacoby. I told her, you know, whatever she needed, I would help her. And that I was happy for her because I don't think I've ever met anybody who wanted to be a mom more than Morgan.
A sonogram revealed Morgan was having a baby girl. She couldn't wait to tell Jacoby about her. She even had a name picked out already.
So my sister was gonna name her child Jalea Raquel. And she was so excited. And don't get me wrong, I'm excited that she was excited, but in a sense that I just hoped that everything was gonna be okay, that we were all gonna be okay.
But now, Morgan has suddenly disappeared. Her family believes she left to meet the father of her baby, Jacoby Flowers, and that something happened to her. But since it's been under 48 hours, police are reluctant to open a missing persons case.
When we made the report, they just brushed it off like she's just a runaway. We know our Morgan. She's not a runaway.
Deep down in my soul, I knew something happened to my sister. I knew there was no question.
Less than a day has passed since 17-year-old Morgan Martin went missing from her home in St. Petersburg, Florida. Police are waiting to see if Morgan turns up, but her loved ones are convinced something has happened to the mom-to-be. So they decide to take matters into their own hands.
Morgan's family knew that Jacoby Flowers was the last person to see her alive. And because of his age and reputation, they had already been suspicious about him from the beginning.
After Leah Martin had reported Morgan missing to St. Petersburg Police Department, She went to Jacoby's work.
Me and Ann had went in and asked him, where is she? Oh, I don't know, I hadn't seen her. I said, have you not talked to her or anything? No, I haven't talked to her at all.
Leah Martin doesn't believe him. She is certain her daughter met with him the night before. She knows he wasn't happy about the fact that Morgan was having his baby.
Morgan sent Jacoby a text to tell him she was pregnant, and he immediately tried to ghost her. He already had children with other women and didn't seem to be interested in having any more.
Jacoby was seeing multiple women at the same time that he was seeing Morgan. Morgan would keep texting him, Facebooking him, trying to get him to spend time with her, and he just would brush her off. Jacoby pleads with Morgan to terminate the pregnancy. Don't do this to me. He's gonna get in trouble because she's underage and he's having sex with her and now she's pregnant. He's worried about going to jail for that.
But Morgan wanted to start a family together.
Morgan didn't have a dad. Morgan had a distant father, someone that paid child support but never spoke. So her not having a father for her child would be something that she would hate.
And I said, Morgan, you don't need him for anything. We're a family, we'll take care of it. I don't know, I'd say about 2 weeks later, like he cut all ties from her. He didn't talk to her. He didn't answer her phone calls. He wouldn't do anything to even acknowledge her. I figured it would come closer to an end, but not Morgan. Her persistence.
Morgan more or less thought that it would turn around, that he would be okay with it, because that's her instincts, was to trust, oh, it'll be all right. He'll come around.
But when he started denying her any access to him, then she got mad, and she'd do a whole lot of phone calls saying, oh, wait till my mom gets you for child support.
So, when Jacoby suddenly agreed to come over on the 24th, Morgan's mother was worried.
I said, do not leave this house with him. Oh, I'm not, Mom. Mom, I'm just gonna go outside and tell him that I'm having a girl. I said, you don't need nothing to do with him. He has nothing to do with us and our family. I won't, Mom, I won't.
Now, mother's intuition tells Leah that Jacoby did something terrible.
Finally, I went to the police station, which would have been, I think, the 27th. Went down, told him, listen, she's missing. There's something wrong. I'm telling you, he killed her.
Since it has been 48 hours since Morgan's disappearance, St. Petersburg police officially opened the missing persons case.
Since she was a juvenile, our youth services actually takes the case over.
She knew from day one that we were not making this up, that this was something serious.
She had about 300 flyers made up for me with Morgan's picture on it, and everything. And, we handed these out. I mean, we walked every street.
Investigators also pay a visit to Jacoby Flowers.
They responded to his home that morning. They did not find Morgan there at the home, did not find anything suspicious or out of place. He seemed very cooperative with them.
Jacoby claims he was with his girlfriend all night and never went to the house on the 24th. And despite what Morgan's family has told police, Jacoby says he can't be the father of her child because they never had a sexual relationship.
So Jacoby said that he liked Morgan, and they were flirting back and forth in their text messages, but he says they were just playing make-believe. But when she threatened to report him for something that he didn't do, that's when he attempted to cut off all communication. Jacoby's girlfriend does confirm his alibi.
Morgan's loved ones insist he's lying. But with no evidence of a crime, All detectives can do is continue the search.
Police can confirm that Morgan did receive a phone call on the evening of July 24th, around 9:03 p.m. This from a prepaid phone that was activated on July 10th, but was no longer in service. The call could have honestly come from anyone.
If Jacoby's alibi is confirmed by a witness, then who did Morgan get in the car with? The search for 17-year-old Morgan Martin has been going on for several days, and investigators are no closer to finding the pregnant teen.
There was a number of tips that had come in, and they were followed up by law enforcement to determine whether any of them were valid. They were determined not to be anything that could be actionable. There are several occasions it was mistaken identity.
Morgan's family still thinks that Jacoby Flowers killed her because she didn't want to get rid of the baby. But there's still not enough evidence to back that up at this point.
So Morgan's loved ones begin conducting their own investigation.
A week after my sister went missing, we went to Jacoby Flowers' house. We were knocking on his door. We knew that he did something to her. We had been knocking on the door for at least 10 minutes before we decided to walk into the side door.
I was afraid when I went in the house, but I also knew my quest to find Morgan was way more than my fear.
The moment they step inside Jacoby's house, they smell something strange.
I was like, what is that? Anne said, that's ammonia. There was probably 5 to 7 bleach bottles on his counter. There were Pine Sol bottles in the sink. It was a ridiculous amount.
We didn't see anybody. We saw the rolled up carpet and blanket in the living room.
We wanted to touch it, but we didn't want to incriminate ourselves any more than what we already have because we shouldn't have been in his home.
We said hello, hello, and nobody answered. And so we're like, okay, let's go back out.
But before they can leave, Jacoby suddenly returns.
He sees us. But he's just smiling and grinning and walks up and he's like, can I help you? And the first thing out of my mouth is, where's my sister? Anne says, why do you have all these bottles everywhere? I was cleaning my car out. In my head, I'm just thinking, you're so full of I can't even see straight.
We asked him if we could look in his vehicle, see if maybe there was any blood. And he said, sure, like he had nothing to hide. But it was clean. The trunk was clean, the back seat was clean, it was all clean.
He's like, hope you find her. And that's how we ended it. I walked away.
I just know he's guilty of something. And the feeling in my stomach was even worse after that.
Morgan's sister immediately tells police about the encounter, and detectives receive some other incriminating news as well from one of Jacoby's co-workers.
One of the employees did contact police when he found out that Jacoby had been listed as a person of interest in Morgan's disappearance. He reported that he came into work on the 25th and realized that there had been a fire of some kind in the cooler.
That was the morning after Morgan vanished.
There was surveillance video on the night of July 24th, 2012. Jacoby Flowers was the closing manager. He was the last employee to leave the building that evening. On this particular night, Jacoby did not set the alarm.
Just after 1:30 a.m., the surveillance cameras capture movement in the store.
There's a specific door that you can enter into the store without being seen on videotape. You can see movement in the background. Then about 45 minutes after that, you can see on the video a large amount of smoke that takes over the inside. And that lasts for about 15 minutes, and then the smoke goes away. But you're not able to make out who's moving in there until the very last frame on that video, and we see a picture of his face.
Two of the managers identified that as being Jacoby Flowers.
We believe that the fire was started to either destroy clothing, evidence, or an attempt to burn Morgan's body.
But when investigators searched the cooler, there's no evidence Morgan's body was ever there.
Jacoby had already been fired, and when police got there, it appeared that the cooler had been cleaned out days prior.
It's enough for St. Petersburg police to change the missing persons case to a homicide investigation.
At this point, that kind of stalls out the investigation. It's hard to prove that there's been a murder when you don't have a body.
At that time, our office was assisting with the various warrants so that they could get the appropriate information and data to review.
The St. Petersburg Police Department put a lot of resources into the case to start off with, but as you're working on a cold case and then a brand new homicide comes in, and the homicide detectives would have to put the cold case aside to work on the new homicide. So it came down to resources and a lack of evidence at that point.
Months go by. Still, Morgan's family refuses to give up.
So about a year after my sister went missing, the case went cold. It was no more information, but we were still putting it out there, still putting her on social media, still letting everyone know that she was still missing. We never stopped. It was never gonna be forgotten.
Two years have passed since Morgan Martin disappeared, and her family wonders if she will ever be found. But while the case is no longer active, the investigation isn't over yet.
The St. Petersburg Police Department started a new cold case unit in 2014, and we were given a multitude of cases to look through. I picked the Morgan Martin case because of the family. It was important for me to bring the family closure.
I get a call one day at work. He's like, listen, I'd like to meet up with you. I've taken over Morgan's case, and I really, really need to meet up with you. I'm like, okay, ready.
We started reading the old reports. And then we started interviewing people, interviewing Morgan's friends, and getting a feel for how this case started and who Morgan had been hanging out with the days prior to her disappearance. We went back and started subpoenaing new records of phones that were involved. There was multiple phones used in this case. We did a lot of phone tracking. You're able to track somebody's movements that way.
The cold case detectives piece together a new timeline based on those records. It begins with a call made to Morgan's phone at 9:03 p.m. the night she disappeared.
Once they were aware of the phone number that was contacting her, they then obtained that phone number's records and was able to determine that at 12:33 a.m. on July 25th, 2012, that phone was pinging off of a tower in the vicinity of her home. After 12:33 a.m., both her phone and the phone that was used to contact her were never used again.
When police examined the data for Jacoby Flowers' personal phone, they're able to compare his movements to the one that called Morgan.
Jacoby's phone was on the entire night, and cell tower pings and tracking software can confirm that the phone traveled from Morgan Martin's neighborhood to the neighborhood of Pine Bay, where Jacoby Flowers lived.
Eventually, after about 35 minutes, they go towards the store.
Detectives already know from surveillance footage that Jacoby was in the store for 2 hours, and now they know where he went from there.
Jacoby leaves the store and travels to south side of St. Pete.
He then departed Pinellas County sometime after 3:30 a.m. on his way to Hillsborough County and then up I-75 heading north.
At that point, Jacoby shuts his phone off. We believe while his phone was off, Jacoby travels to a location that he had known about and buries Morgan's body.
When Jacoby turned his phone back on, several hours had passed, and he was in Manatee County.
Manatee County, he ends up coming through the Skyway toll, where we have video surveillance of him, pays his toll, and goes north back into the city of St. Petersburg. He travels throughout the city for several hours, ending up back at his apartment around 10:40 in the morning.
After returning home around 12:30 p.m., he contacted AT&T and had his phone number changed.
The timeline supports the theory that Jacoby killed Morgan, but investigators know they'll need more to get a conviction.
We go back out, we reprocess the store, we look for blood, we look for any type of evidence that we can find, and we took samples all throughout that little cooler to be processed for DNA. Eventually, reach out to Dr. John DeHaan, who is a arson expert, and he has the ability to test for burnt human remains. So we believe the whole time that Morgan had been burnt or her body had been burned inside the cooler. We send those samples out to Dr. DeHaan. He analyzes them, comes back and says, yes, there had been a body burned in that cooler.
Cold case detectives in St. Petersburg, Florida, have found convincing new evidence that Morgan Martin was killed by Jacoby Flowers, the father of her unborn child. When they go to arrest him, however, they find he's already been picked up for a different crime.
Jacoby was driving south on US 19, exceeding the speed limit when law enforcement attempted to stop him. He evaded the officer. Within 10 minutes of that chase, Jacoby reported his car stolen. When the FHP trooper responded to the St. Petersburg Police Department where Jacoby was giving that report, he identified him as the driver of the vehicle, having fled from his attempt to stop him.
The detectives working Morgan's case take the opportunity to confront him.
Downstairs, met with Jacoby and said, hey, I just want to introduce myself, and I'm the guy that's going to put you in prison for the rest of your life.
For now, Jacoby is only charged with evading arrest. He's convicted and sentenced to 1 year in prison. When he's released in 2016, homicide investigators are there waiting for him.
The day he's supposed to get out of jail, we drive out to Avon Park, let him know that he was being indicted for first-degree murder.
And Jacoby was behind bars.
But Detective Culbertson still has half of his promise left to fulfill.
The main thing that we really wanted to do was to try to locate Morgan. So the detectives asked him, you know, hey, can you help yourself out here and just let us know where Morgan's remains are so we can recover her? And Jacoby said, what good's that going to do me? I'm already indicted.
And without a body, prosecutors know it could take years to build a strong enough case to convict Jacoby of murder.
There were over well over 200 witnesses, maybe even 300 witnesses on the case due to it being circumstantial, and having to develop each of the circumstances in order for the jury to understand at a trial what had taken place.
Mr. Baird and I have other cases as well. The defense attorney has other cases. Scheduling the depositions, you can only do so many at a time.
The case drags on for over 6 years. As his trial date finally approaches, Jacoby surprises everyone.
One day we went to court, and it was just another pretrial. And then all of a sudden, the state's attorney says, we need to talk. We go back in the back room, and then they start talking plea deal.
He had two options. Option number one, you can plead guilty. You have to meet with us in the jail, and you're gonna tell us where she is and give us details. If that information leads to the recovery of her body, you will get 25 years in prison. She's not where you said she was, you will get 40 years.
In my heart, I wanted to say, no way. 40 years is not enough for this man that took Morgan and took, not just Morgan, but the baby.
I kept thinking it wasn't enough for her. But my need for my child was more than my want for him to go away. I wanted her way more than I cared whatever happened to him.
On April 1st, 2022, Jacoby Flowers finally gives his account of what happened on the night almost 10 years earlier when Morgan Martin disappeared.
Jacoby Flowers said that he came to pick up my sister around 12:30 that night after he got off work. He brought her back to his home to do whatever.
So he had said that they got into an argument and that he ultimately shot her.
Jacoby doesn't say exactly what the argument was about, but the indictment alleges that he may have killed Morgan for one of two reasons. One, to ultimately terminate the pregnancy that he didn't want, and two, to get back at Morgan for threatening to report him for statutory rape if he didn't step up to the plate for the child.
He said then he wrapped her up in painter's tarp and taped it. He then put her in the back of his trunk where he took her to the restaurant and tried to burn the body. And when that didn't work, the smoke lit up the building. He cleaned up what he had to. He then walked out the back door and put her back in his trunk.
And then he drove her to Alabama where he buried her.
Morgan's loved ones hope this means they will finally be able to put her to rest. But by now, they know better than to trust anything Jacoby says.
I never thought that he would lead us to the body. I had hope, but he had this smirk on his face like, I'm getting ready to take you for a ride.
As part of his plea agreement, Jacoby Flowers agrees to tell the court where he buried the body of his pregnant girlfriend, Morgan Martin. Under his direction, investigators travel to a field in Pike County, Alabama.
They go out to the area and search with planes equipped with ground-penetrating radar. They eventually find something that looked like human remains.
They dug, they excavated that area and couldn't find anything. I went over to the jail, I think 2 different times, and tried to get more information from him to make sure, are we in the right spot? And even had him like on a video conference, like a FaceTime, had the map up. He was directing them. No luck.
Still, Jacoby insists Morgan's body is there.
He was saying they weren't doing it right. He knew where she was, and he was telling them, and they were doing it just so he'd have to get the 40 years.
We agreed to allow him to travel to Alabama. The sheriff had to take him. He was still in custody. And it ended up being the same location they were at. They dug it and they did not recover anything.
It became apparent that Jacoby was just continuing with his same deceitfulness that he has had since the very beginning.
It was a joke to him. The whole thing was a joke. He knows where she's at, but he knew he was going to go to prison.
On April 28, 2022, a judge sentences Jacoby Flowers to 40 years in prison.
In the statement he gave in court, in his interview, never once did he mention Morgan by name. Never once did he ever acknowledge that she was pregnant with his child.
He smirked and he laughed and he blew a kiss to his family, and you don't get to do that. This is not the paparazzi. You don't get to fake it. You don't get to be happy.
I did not care what he had to say because none of it was going to be the truth. It's all lies.
I had hope that he would have been a decent enough person to provide her family with closure and telling us where Morgan was. But to see it through to the end and see that he didn't even do that, it speaks volumes to his character. And it tells you how much of a monster he really is.
The fact that he claims he didn't plan it, I don't believe that for a second. Everything we saw through messages, his actions, going to get disposable, burner phones, you're leaving the alarm off, you change your phone the next morning, all the steps showed careful planning that he waited for this opportunity.
She wasn't a sit down and shut up type of girl. And that's what he wanted her to be. And I think he did it all for every bit of revenge because he couldn't get his way with what he wanted to do.
Morgan Martin would have turned 28 years old in 2022. Her body has still not been found.
It really pulls on your heartstrings that someone with so much spirit and life could be taken just like that, just vanish.
I want to lay her to rest. To say, okay, we're going to bury you now. You can rest. Be at peace.
Shape and form. She has the same attitude, the just willingness to be joyful and happy. And I look at her and I call her Morgan all the time, and my mom does the same thing. We celebrate her more than anything.
They go to knock on doors and see if there are witnesses.
But as the neighbor and officers approach David's house, they notice something else.
The smoke appeared to be coming from the unit where Takira Collins lived with her 2 children.
They look through those windows. There's a lot of smoke.
It looked like there had been a fire inside.
It burned itself out.
However, the fire is still a tragedy.
Hey, I see kids in there.
Life had never been easy for 25-year-old Takira Collins.
Our father, he passed when she was 1 going on 2.
You could tell it was hard on her. It affected her a lot.
In the aftermath, Takira's mother struggled to make ends meet.
Growing up in poverty, it just made things very difficult. Childhood for us was stressful.
As a result, the siblings stuck together.
She wanted us to be inseparable. She always wanted to be there for me. I always wanted to be there for her. And the older we got, the stronger we got.
But as important as their bond was, Takira longed for more.
She did want family just because she didn't have her father growing up.
By 18, she'd found what she was looking for with Armand Johnson, a young man that lived in her neighborhood.
Being from the same neighborhood and being around things and seeing things and being through things together, that made their bond, strong and tight.
The couple fell in love, and in 2012, Takira gave birth to a baby boy.
He is beautiful.
He looks like you.
You think so?
Well, he is Armand Johnson Jr.
I know she was happy.
Once her son was born, Takira devoted herself to raising the child.
Her whole mindset changed. She just wanted to do better and be better. She was just focused. She was being a mom.
But while Takira was home with their child, Armand was out in the streets.
He ended up going to jail.
He was sent away for 5 years on robbery charges.
While Armand was in prison, Takira remained focused on raising their child.
Takira Collins was a dedicated mom, and she was a hard worker. She worked multiple jobs.
She also met someone new, a man named Anthony Stevens.
Hey, I saw you sitting here and I just had to come over and meet you.
I'm glad you did.
When Takira met Anthony, she was happy, head over heels.
That first meeting quickly blossomed into a romance.
They going out, dates, and they kicking it and spending time together.
Pretty soon, they welcomed their own bundle of joy into the world, Aubrey.
She was so happy that she had a girl. Like, finally, I got a mini-me.
But Takira's relationship with Anthony didn't last either.
I turned sour, but they was together for, I'd say, about a year.
She said he became overprotective and was giving her crazy vibes, so she ended things with him.
She was a strong, independent woman.
But she still longed for her kids to have a father figure in their lives.
She ended things with Anthony, and I believe that's when the feelings for Armand started to come back.
She wanted her son's father in his life.
Her son, he older now. He asking about where my dad at. Can I talk to my dad?
Takira reached out, and Armand reconnected with his son and Takira.
He was able to give her the attention she needed, explain to her how things was going to be when he came home.
He told me we worked it out.
They got engaged, and they wanted to move forward as a family.
And when Armand finally came home, they did become a family.
Aubrey obviously was a product of a different relationship, but this little girl became his own.
Armand also doted over his little boy.
Good job, man. Yeah.
I could see that he loved his dad.
And Takira was glad to have a family again.
I said, you happy? I'm happy. That's all that matters.
Things was looking good.
But now, officers responding to a shooting have spotted smoke coming from Takira's apartment.
They went to investigate and made a horrifying discovery.
Hey, I see kids in there.
They saw the two children in the house.
They were lying motionless on the floor.
Ready?
The first responders make a forced entry, but they're too late.
Both of the children were dead from smoke inhalation.
You had a tremendous amount of smoke, which is what caused the kids to die.
But the children aren't the only victims. Moving deeper into the apartment, the officers make another grim discovery.
Police discovered Takira's body.
Unlike her children, Takira didn't die in the fire.
Takira had been shot 10 times.
Her and Armand was back together, and things was looking good.
But now, police have found Takira and her two children dead inside her apartment.
Takira had been shot 10 times.
A lot of those injuries were from the back. I believe she was running to her bedroom, trying to get away.
Then the killer had apparently tried to set fire to the apartment, hoping to hide the evidence.
Since the children didn't have any visible injuries, police believe they died from smoke inhalation.
One of the huge factors in this case is the fact that this house was newly renovated and had brand new windows. There were no gaps in these windows. That was crucial because when this house was set aflame, the fire didn't get any oxygen in order for this whole structure to come down. So that's why we are not looking at a pile of rubble.
When homicide detectives arrive, they find clear evidence that the fire had been deliberately set.
There was a gas can left in her bedroom.
Detectives also recover multiple 9mm shell casings, as well as Takira's phone.
Takira's phone is laying on the sofa in the living room.
There were no indications of a robbery or any signs of forced entry.
Adding that to the number of wounds Takira suffered leads detectives to one conclusion.
This was a crime of passion.
Shooting Takira that many times was definitely personal.
10 shots is overkill.
The detectives suspect the children slept through the shooting.
But Takira's daughter woke sometime after the fire had been set.
Aubrey got up from her bed. We know that because she had soot in the bottom of her feet. And when you look at the walls in the house, you see her handprints walking down to her brother's room.
Police found the two children clinging to one another inside her brother's bedroom.
It's heartbreaking.
But did their deaths have anything to do with the murder of their neighbor, David Cousin Jr.?
After looking over the apartment where Takira and her children died, detectives went to the vacant lot nearby where the neighbor found David.
They would have been looking for shell casings and looking to see if these things were connected.
In the grass, detectives recover one more 9mm shell casing.
It was a match to the ones found in Takira's bedroom, which made detectives believe they were looking for the same shooter in both murders.
While the detectives work, onlookers start to gather outside the crime scene tape.
This had a lot of attention. There were family members showing up. Everyone from the neighborhood is out. It's a chaotic scene at this point.
The neighborhood was on edge to see two babies and a mother killed.
Neighbors are just as dismayed by David's murder.
People that lived in Slavic Village in that neighborhood were shocked because who would do something to David?
In his community, he was a very well-respected individual.
But other than being neighbors, there was no real connection between David and Takira.
It was just a high-by situation. This my neighbor. It was nothing like no relationship or none of that. He had a girlfriend. He was about to get married.
Hoping to learn more about Takira, detectives turn to her family who have started to gather after hearing the horrific news.
Can I see my baby?
Hey, we're so sorry for your loss. When I get home, missed calls. It was coming from our uncle. So I called him. I asked him what's going on. And he told me, like, your sister's, she's gone. The first thing that came to my mind was, okay, well, what about the kids? Where are the kids?
Her family had just the profound sense of loss when, you didn't just lose one family member. You lost 3 and you lost babies.
But the family also says they know who did it.
Family members thought that only one person was responsible.
It had to be Anthony.
And her mother says she has proof.
She sent me a text last night about her youngest father.
Takira's mother received a text from her saying that Anthony was over the house.
And according to Takira's text, Anthony had a gun.
Cleveland detectives have reason to believe Takira Collins' ex-boyfriend, Anthony Stevens, may be responsible for the shooting and arson that killed Takira, her 2 children, and their neighbor, David Cousin Jr.
Takira's mother said she received a late-night text from her daughter that said Anthony had come by the apartment.
He had a gun, and she felt threatened.
Did you tell her to call the police?
I didn't see it until this morning.
Takira's mother said she tried to call Takira as soon as she saw the text.
She didn't answer, so I came straight over.
Do you think he killed her?
It had to be Anthony.
She said if something was to ever happen to her, Arby's father did it.
Takira's mother tells the detectives that Anthony and Takira were having issues over the custody of their daughter.
She was keeping Arby from him because he just got crazier to the point where it scared her.
While detectives are talking to the family, Armand Johnson, the father of Takira's oldest child, arrives at the scene.
Where's Takira? Takira! Where's Takira?
Detectives pulled Armand aside and broke the news that Takira and the kids were dead.
Oh no!
He said he received a late-night text, just like Takira's mother, that said Anthony had come over and he was threatening her.
I got a text message saying...
And also like Takira's mother, he says he hadn't seen the text until it was too late.
He was devastated with what happened.
And the detectives were afraid he would do something rash.
Where is he?
Sir,
no, where's Anthony? I need to see him.
To keep Armand from interfering with the investigation, the detectives take him into custody.
He had an outstanding warrant for some other probation violation.
Once Armand's in custody, the detectives take him down to the station for a formal statement.
He eagerly wants to help.
Although, since he was under arrest, the detectives kept him cuffed.
Right now, you're under arrest for a warrant that you have.
The detectives begin by asking Armand about his relationship with Takira.
He explained that he'd moved in with Takira after he'd gotten out of prison.
However, Armand also says he'd moved out a couple of weeks before the murders.
Why did you leave?
Because we just had disagreements. So how has your relationship been with her recently? You guys talk?
Yeah, we talk. She still let me come see my kids.
In fact, Armand had said that he took both of the children to a family reunion in Detroit that weekend.
When was the last time you seen them, those two children?
Sunday when I dropped them off.
He says he didn't have any contact with Takira or the kids after that.
Then when I woke up this morning, I received a text from yesterday.
Armand said the text was about Anthony coming to the apartment and threatening her.
She never said to you what this was all about?
No.
Or why that there was such a problem between them?
No.
Finally, while he's not a suspect, the detectives wrap up the interview by asking Armand where he was the night of the murders.
He said he was home asleep.
I fell asleep right about 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Who can verify that you were home at 9:30 sleeping?
My grandmother, my aunt, my father.
They were all there?
Yes.
He has an alibi. It's not him.
But would Takira's other ex be able to say the same?
Anthony came forward and turned himself in to be questioned.
You're not under arrest. Let me make that clear. We read these to everybody because it's a criminal investigation.
After reading Anthony his rights, the detectives ask about his relationship with Takira.
It was shaky. You crazy.
When you say she was crazy, like, what do you mean by that?
It was just a point in time in my life where I wanted to have my cake and eat it too, and she wasn't with it.
Meaning you want to see other women?
Yeah.
And according to Anthony, he hadn't even seen Takira in more than a year.
When was the last time you actually spoken with Takira?
I would have to say since my daughter was months old, literally.
He was a non-factor in her life, a non-factor in his daughter's life, sadly.
Although he said that was primarily Takira's fault.
I've never reached out to her because every time I even tried to talk to her, it's an argument. It's going to be something that I don't want it to blow up into.
So in other words, Anthony had just confirmed the custody issues that Takira's family had told the detectives about.
But does that mean they were right to suspect Anthony was her killer?
At this point, detectives confronted him with the text messages that Armand and Takira's mother received.
Anthony reads the message and denies it's true.
He maintained that he had not seen Takira and he was nowhere near her house the night before. He said that somebody was setting him up.
Who would want to jam you up in a quadruple homicide?
I have no idea. I want to find out my damn self.
Anthony also claims to have an alibi.
Mondays, I work 5 to close.
Anthony had a job making sandwiches at the time these offenses happened.
Hey, take a look at this.
When police follow up on Anthony's alibi, his story checks out.
Footage from the sub shop.
They were able to prove that Anthony was at work. There was surveillance footage. They even saw his time card.
And the texts to Takira's mother and Armand?
It's a big red herring, thrown out by the real killer.
But who? Desperate for leads, the detectives run a record search on Takira.
When you look at a victim in a case, their history can guide you to some extent as to who the perpetrator of this crime is.
When detectives look into Takira's history, they find an immediate red flag.
She had taken out an order of protection against another ex-boyfriend.
His name is Darius Murphy.
According to the protective order, Darius had been abusive.
She was beaten, she was also bitten.
Why are you questioning like this?
Well, because violent things happen between you two. That's why.
Investigating the murders of Takira Collins, her 2 children, and her neighbor David Cousin Jr. have just learned about an order of protection she took out against an ex-boyfriend named Darius Murphy.
In the request for the order, Takira accused Darius of abusing her.
Is there a possible connection?
Okay, take a seat there for me.
Hoping to find out, the detectives bring Darius in for an interview.
That's a wrong question.
Well, because you were a previous boyfriend with her who had a protection order issued against you, and violent things happen between you two. That's why.
Darius admits he had a relationship with Takira, but he says it was brief.
Someone to like August or something.
2018.
Yeah, last year.
That was after Takira broke up with the father of her daughter, Anthony, but while her boyfriend, Armand, was still in jail.
She said it might be a relationship because she was already engaged with Armand.
She told you this relationship between you and I can't go on after he gets out.
You guys can't stop.
Darius claimed that he was okay with their arrangement, but the detectives aren't so sure.
Was this an if I can't have you, no one can type of situation?
You have someone who is engaged in a crime of passion, it's jealousy, anger.
Plus, Takira claimed he'd been violent with her before.
You ever assault her? No. Okay. I understand.
People put this fight all the time, argue, but
physically is what I'm asking you.
I probably bit her or something, but I never know.
She alleges you bit her on the back.
Yeah, I do that, but I never.
Okay.
Beat her.
Of course, he'd also denied he had anything to do with Takira's murder.
So let me ask you, and I gotta ask you this. It's important. Did you go over to East 63rd Street and have a confrontation with Takira and shoot, kill her?
I never did.
Instead, Darius insists the detectives should be looking at Takira's other ex, Armand Johnson.
He said Armand was abusive, according to what Takira had supposedly told him.
She said he used to beat her black and blue, and now he used to put his hands on her in front of the kids.
A lot of times people assume having children makes a relationship better, but having children can also make a relationship an unhealthy environment because a lot of people don't want the responsibility of caring for children. And that happens with a lot of men, that they're just not ready to do that whole commitment piece.
However, Darius doesn't know if the abuse continued once Armand got out of jail.
He said he last talked to her a couple of months before the murders.
Okay. And Armand had already been out of jail.
He was out of jail now, he was talking about them, and she telling me how they were doing.
According to Darius, Takira said things were going okay between her and Armand.
She didn't say nothing bad at that time.
She said she was still engaged to him?
At that time, yeah.
Could there be something to Darius's claims about an abusive relationship?
Takira had broken off the engagement.
Or was Darius simply trying to throw detectives off his trail?
Despite Darius's claims about Armand, the detectives pressed him for an alibi.
He's going to corroborate your times for Monday, July 8th through July 9th.
Curiously, Darius hesitates.
I don't want to be putting people in this.
Well, you're going to have to, because right now you're in the middle of this.
Yeah.
To the detectives, it sounded like Darius was hiding something.
Hoping to find out what that might be, the detectives head back to the crime scene.
They canvassed the neighborhood, looking for surveillance cameras that could place Darius in the vicinity the night of the murders.
Police start to focus in on a McDonald's that's very close to Takira's house.
In fact, when detectives review the footage, the surveillance cameras outside the restaurant recorded Takira taking her kids through the drive-thru just hours before the murders.
You may want to check this out.
It's our last known footage, our last time we see Takira and these kids alive.
But what was interesting to detectives was what the cameras recorded a few hours later.
A man runs across the parking lot from the direction of Takira's house and gets in a waiting car.
Could this be the killer making his getaway?
Not too many people go to McDonald's and get picked up.
From the footage, it's tough to make out the man's identity.
The cameras, they're not clear enough.
However, the cameras did offer detectives a good look at the man's shoes.
We could see the design on these shoes and how specific these shoes were.
But who was the man wearing those shoes? It isn't long before the detectives get a call from someone who claims to know.
I called downtown. Hey, I got some information on this case. I know exactly who it is.
Of Takira Collins, her 2 children, and her neighbor David Cousin Jr. have just received an urgent phone call from Takira's friend, Kayla Hodges.
I knew exactly who did it. It was no doubt in my mind.
According to Kayla, the killer was Armand Johnson, the father of Takira's oldest child.
Armand, I knew for a fact, but it just was like, damn, why you do the kids?
When Kayla comes in to sit down with the detectives, she says she always knew there was trouble in the relationship.
I could see that she wasn't happy. Like, yeah, you there, you being a father, but you not there.
She told you this?
No, not at first.
She did tell me some stuff, but she ain't telling us everything.
Kayla says Takira also kept her family in the dark.
It's a dirty secret. And because it is cyclical, you don't want to tell someone what happened with your abuser, because in a week, in a month, in a few days, things are going to be good. And you don't want them to alienate that person from your life.
But according to Kayla, the trouble between Armand and Takira got so bad that she couldn't hide it from everyone.
I got a call. I'm in the hospital. I got stitches. Got some stitches for what? Oh, Armand got mad and hit me in my lip.
Kayla says it was only then that Takira revealed the truth about Armand.
relationship was just really, really toxic.
He wouldn't stop putting his hands on her. He was basically insecure about any relationship with any males that he thought was more than a friendship.
The perpetrator in the domestic violence feels a lack of control, but does not feel that they have done anything wrong.
And unfortunately, a lot of women don't think that they can get out of an abusive situation.
Which is why, according to Kayla, Takira was secretly relieved when Armand went to prison.
It's like when he went away, she don't have to deal with that no more.
But Kayla says that Takira's resolve weakened while Armand was away.
You start feeling bad for somebody, get the text and write letters. He incarcerated. That's your child's father. Because I wouldn't say I wouldn't do the same thing. I probably would have.
Over a time period, a person begins to start minimizing the negative of the relationship to the point where they're like, it wasn't that bad with this person.
And when Armand got out of prison, the couple reconciled.
He's sorry, he apologized.
But he hadn't changed at all.
He started abusing her again.
Yeah.
He's supposed to busted up her lip pretty bad, gave her a black eye. But unfortunately, they kept me out of the loop. They didn't want me to do anything to Armand.
However, while Takira didn't tell her brother about the abuse, she did break off her engagement with Armand.
She was no longer going to put up with his behavior. She didn't want her kids around it.
When she was finally done and walking away, I could see a change. Like, she was happy. You could tell that she was excited for the new adventure.
That's extremely important and relevant in a case like this.
So you think Armand did this?
Oh, I'm sure of it.
The picture Kayla paints sounds plausible to detectives.
For him, it was like an all or nothing. He wanted her in his life. And what is scary about domestic violence relationships is that the most dangerous time is when you decide to leave. And we can make and pass laws, but at the end of the day, those things are just words on a piece of paper. And that's not going to protect anyone against 10 gunshots. If someone is intent on killing you because they can't have you, they're going to do it.
Question is, can detectives prove it?
They got a search warrant to Armand's grandmother's home where he was living with his aunt.
Hi, how can I help you?
Ma'am, we have a warrant to search your property.
Oh, dear. Okay. Sure, come on in.
They don't find a smoking gun, but what they do find is almost as damning.
They discovered some very distinct shoes, the same ones that were in the surveillance footage.
You look at the shoes and definitely say they're the same shoes. And then there's shoes that happen to have gasoline on them.
Whoever set the fire had spread gasoline around the apartment.
They also had blood on them as well.
Before sending the shoes off to the lab for testing, the detectives lean on Armand's aunt.
Earlier, he told police she would vouch that he was home on the night of the murder.
But under pressure from the detectives, she caves.
So was your nephew at home all night on July 8th?
Yes. Yeah. No. Well, not all night.
She admits that on the night of the murders, she picked him up at the McDonald's down the street from Takira's apartment.
I don't know that she truly knew what was going on. You don't want to believe that he's capable of what he did to these kids. It's unthinkable.
Between the aunt's story, the surveillance video, and the shoes, detectives were able to place Armand near the scene of the crime on the night of the murder.
2 days after the murders, the detectives pull Armand out of the jail cell where he's being held on a parole violation and confront him with what they've learned.
I have your aunt talking to us, telling us that she picked you up in the area at the time of this occurrence.
No, it was not.
Armand was denying that he committed these crimes.
But it's no use.
We have a video of you
However, there was still one thing that detectives wanted to know.
The only thing I do not understand is how you could possibly burn your children alive.
26-year-old Armand Johnson killed his ex-fiancée, Takira Collins, her 2 children, and their neighbor, David Cousin Jr.
You went over there.
No, I did not.
And you killed her.
No, I did not.
Armand tries to deny it, but the detectives have proof.
Your own aunt is saying she picked you up that morning from that area right there, and she took you home.
Detectives also have surveillance video to back up his aunt's story.
Armand being captured on camera in the neighborhood at McDonald's was instrumental in the case.
But what the detectives really want is a confession.
In the interview, detectives leaned hard on the fact that Armand's own son had died.
I can understand wanting to hurt her, but not the kids. I just don't understand that part of it.
However, despite the pressure, Armand refuses to crack.
I need to talk to my lawyer.
The interview over, the detectives book Armand on 4 counts of murder.
There's an aggravated murder for Takira, for each one of the kids, and for David Cousin.
As news of the arrest spreads, the community rallies around Takira's family.
Everyone was on social media screaming, no justice, no peace.
But as the case moves to trial, the family has a long wait ahead of them.
We had COVID in the middle from the time that this crime happened until the time it went to trial. So there were a lot of delays in addition to what you would normally have with a capital case.
When Armand goes on trial in August of 2022, the prosecutors argue that he just couldn't accept that his relationship with Takira was over.
That was the catalyst. He didn't want to be without her.
And it's been documented that he had an anger issue, that he was jealous of her, he didn't want her with anyone else.
So, on the night of the murders, he'd gone to Takira's apartment.
What do you want?
We need to talk.
No, we don't. We have nothing to talk about.
The kid's asleep.
Yeah?
I'm coming in.
No, you're not. You're not welcome here. You need to leave.
Oh, I ain't going nowhere.
Takira tried to run, but it was no use.
He fired at her at least 10 times.
Then, once Takira was dead, he'd spread gasoline around the apartment.
When you look at where that gas was distributed throughout that house, Armand Johnson absolutely intended those kids to lose their lives. He didn't want to leave any witnesses to what he had done.
The prosecutors believe that's also why Armand killed David Cousin Jr.
He was just an innocent bystander, coming in the house at the wrong time.
Armand saw him as someone who could uncover this whole event. That's why he shot and killed him.
That was just so sad that he had to lose his life.
According to the prosecutors, there's no doubt that Armand was responsible.
They had the aunt, the video, and the shoes recovered during the search that all placed him near the scene of the crime.
And that's not all the prosecutors have.
The shoes he was wearing that night had Takira's DNA on them, likely from blood spatter.
Add it all up, it's more than enough for the jury.
Armand is found to be guilty.
He received 4 life sentences without parole. I can sleep well at night knowing that he's never getting out of prison.
Takira's loved ones are less satisfied with the outcome.
It wasn't enough for me. I'm sorry. It wasn't enough. That's 4 lives, 2 adults and 2 kids. Then you still living, you still eating, you still breathing. No, that wasn't good enough for me. Still can't sleep at night.
While they still struggle to accept their loss, Takira's friends and family hope her story can help save others from a similar fate.
I don't wish this on nobody, not even my worst enemy. If you going through that situation, get out.
Pay attention to the red flags. Don't ignore the warning signs. Don't wait before it's too late.
But most of all, Takira's loved ones cherish her memory.
She was my everything. Me and her told each other everything. I don't have that no more.
Takira Lachey Collins was my best friend, and she was a beautiful person. Her kids was adorable angels. And they go